Lagos sun was already dropping, but the heat still clung to Comfort's skin like shame. Her wrapper was faded, tied tightly around her waist. Her slippers flapped on the dusty ground as she stepped out of her compound to buy a small loaf of bread. 200 naira clenched in her palm. That was all she had left. She crossed the street slowly, weighed down by the thought that had refused to let her rest. No husband, no child, no money, no future. She had done everything, sold fruits by the roadside, took cleaning jobs in offices, tried petty trading, but every time she tried to rise, life slapped her back into the dirt. She had barely taken 5 steps across the streets when a loud car horn jolted her. She looked up. A sleek black Mercedes parked beside her, the kind you only saw in adverts or movies. The window rolled down. Behind dark shades sat a woman with glowing skin and red lipstick. Comfort blinked.
Comfort, is this really you?
The woman laughed. Comfort squinted, confused. Then recognition hit her like a wave. Amara, her old schoolmate, the girl who used to borrow pen from her in class, now sitting inside a car that smelled of leather and wealth. Amara, Comfort managed to whisper.
Get in.
Amara smiled.
Let's talk.
They sat at a joint table in a high-end bar on the island. A cool breeze blew across the outward lounge. Amara looked like she belonged there. Gold bracelets, designer bag, flawless skin. Comfort sat across from her, visibly out of place. Her scarf was slipping. Her hands clutched her bag like it might be stolen. Amara watched her for a moment, then leaned in.
You look tired. What's been going on?
Comfort tried to speak, but her voice cracked.
Life has been hard, Amara. I've tried everything, I swear. I've tried. Nothing works. I wake up every day just to survive.
Tears filled her eyes, but she wiped them quickly, ashamed. Amara reached out and held her hand gently.
I understand,
she said.
But you don't have to live like this anymore.
Comfort looked up slowly.
What do you mean?
I belong to a society, a women's circle,
Amara said quietly.
It's not just a social group, it's powerful. We don't beg life to favor us. We take what we want.
Comfort frowned.
Is it?
It's not for everyone,
Amara cut in.
But if you are tired of suffering, if you truly want to be free, this is your chance.
Comfort's heart pounded. Her palms turned cold. This wasn't just a conversation. This was an invitation to a different world, one where the rules were different. She didn't give an answer that night. She just sat there, trembling quietly. A few days later, Comfort agreed. She didn't tell anyone, and she didn't ask questions. Amara picked her up one evening and took her to the place. It was a large gated compound in a quiet part of the town. There was no signboard, no banners, just silence and mystery. Inside, the atmosphere shifted. Comfort walked into a dimly lit hall where women of high status sat in silence. These weren't regular people. They were society women, women she had seen on TV, on magazine covers, in politics, business, and luxury events. Women with names. She stood quietly among them. Soon, a tall woman dressed in crimson veil walked into the center. Her voice echoed through the room. You want wealth? She asked Comfort directly. Then you must do one thing. For 7 nights you will lie alone in the cemetery, barefoot, wearing a black robe, from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. You must not move. That is your entrance. Comfort's heart stopped. She had never stepped inside a graveyard in her life. The idea alone made her skin crawl. After the meeting, when they were back in the car, she turned to Amara.
That thing they said is too hard. I don't think I can do it.
Amara sighed.
We've all done is comfort. That's the price. After the 7th night, you will never lack again. You said you were tired of suffering. This is how it ends.
Comfort went quiet. Then she muttered.
I don't even have a black robe.
Amara smiled calmly.
Don't worry, I will take care of everything.
They drove into Balogun Market that same evening. Amara pulled over beside a line of shops, marched into one of the stores and returned with a long black robe wrapped in nylon.
Here, you will need it.
She handed it to Comfort like someone handing over an answer sheet before an exam. That night, back in her room, Comfort sat on her bed in silence. No electricity, just the soft hum of a nearby generator. She stared at the nylon bag in her lap. She unwrapped the rope. It was pure black, light but heavy in her hands, like it carried something invisible. She held it against her chest and lay back on her mattress. The ceiling fan creaked above her, unmoving. She didn't sleep. All night long, her mind wrestled.
What if this is the way out? What if it's the only way left? I am already 40. What else is there to lose? Then again, what if it takes more than I can give?
But the one thing that wouldn't let her go was the same one thing that had dragged her across the street earlier.
I am tired of suffering.
And as the morning sun crawled into her window, Comfort sat up, her decision made. Rob smelled of new clothes and dust. Comfort wore it slowly that night, the sleeve swallowing her thin arms. Her hands trembled as she tied the waist loosely. The hour was 11 p.m. The streets were quiet except for the occasional barking of dogs and the low hum of a passing keke. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. She just stepped outside barefoot, carrying nothing but her fear. The soles of her feet touched cold cement as she walked through the dark compound. The air felt different, thicker and heavier.
7 nights,
she muttered to herself.
Just 7.
Comfort reached the gate of Athens Cemetery by 11:45 p.m. The security guard was sleeping at his posts. The iron gate creaked as she slipped inside. The graveyard was a kingdom of silence. Tall grass swayed between tombstones. The moon hung like a witness. It was already 12 a.m. She walked until she found 2 flat graves, side by side. She spread the rope and lay between them, face up, her heart racing.
Just lie down,
she told herself.
Don't run, don't cry.
The wind whispered. At 3 a.m. she heard it, a low rumble, deep beneath the ground, something ancient. It passed through her body like a warning. She sat up, stood, walked back home without a word. Every night for the first 6 nights, the fear returned, but less than before, her feet toughened, her heart slowed. She began to notice things, the cats that watched her from a distance, the same fresh flower that appeared on a particular grave every night, the strange rustle of leaves, even when the wind stood still. Her neighbors noticed the change too. Comfort no longer greeted anyone. She stayed indoors all day, barely ate, barely spoke. At night, she walked to the cemetery, to the graves, and to the sound. Then came the 7th night. This night felt heavier than the rest. The wind was still, the air was colder. She lay on the ground, clutching the rope tightly. Her eyes closed, her body refused to relax. And then, she fell asleep. She began to dream. She saw her father standing near her window, holding a walking stick. Her mother stood beside him, weeping silently.
Comfort,
her father said.
Turn back. This part, it will cut your life short.
Comfort tried to speak, but no words came.
Go back,
her mother cried.
Don't sacrifice what God still plans to bless.
Comfort gasped and woke up. Her heart pounded against her chest. The cemetery was dead silent. She looked at the time. It was 2:59 a.m. 1 minute to go. She didn't move. She just lay there, staring at the sky, eyes wide open and body frozen. Then came the rumble. She stood slowly. Her robe brushed across the grass as she walked out. Her face was pale. Her lips were dry, but she didn't stop. Comfort slept the entire day. No dreams at all. By evening, she sat alone in her small room staring at nothing. And then her phone rang. The screen lit up. Uncle Ebuka. She hadn't heard from him in over 6 years. She answered slowly.
Comfort.
His voice boomed with excitement.
I've been looking for your number. I have a business deal. I am importing foreign furniture. Big stock. I want you to market it. You will take a big share.
Comfort blinked. Me? She whispered.
Yes, you. I trust you. I will send the goods to Lagos next week.
The line ended. Comfort stared at her phone, then slowly looked at the rope hanging on the door. Her heart beat slower than usual. The goods arrived 2 weeks later. Comfort made calls, shared flyers, met shop owners. Within 2 weeks, the goods were gone. 50 million sat in her account. She sat in front of her mirror that night looking at herself. Same face, same body, but something inside her had shifted forever. Of fresh paint filled the air. Comfort stepped barefoot across the marble tiles of her new apartment. The hand of her sick nightwear brushing lightly against her ankle. She had moved out of trenches. This was Ikoyi now. Her curtains were imported. Her bed sheets were Egyptian cotton. Her wardrobe was full. Her fridge fuller. A driver stood outside waiting with the keys to a brand new silver Range Rover Vela. The second car, a Toyota Prado, was for her manager. The news spread fast.
Have you heard? That woman who used to live in number 14 compound, Comfort, she's rich now, no be small thing.
Some said it was luck, others said it was grace, but nobody knew how it happened, and Comfort wasn't explaining. She launched her cosmetic store 2 weeks after the 50 million naira alert. It was called Golden Scale Empire, a glass front shop on the island with rose gold branding and LED lighting. She stocked the best of the best, imported organic creams, high-end perfumes, face kits that promised glass skin in 14 days. Women flocked to the shop, slay queens, CEOs, brides-to-be. And business? It boomed. She hired 2 staff and a store manager. She didn't even handle sales anymore. She only dropped by in heels, dark shades, and flowing dresses just to check the books and smile. Her photos started going up online. Instagram stories of her sipping champagne in the back of a Benz. TikToks of her unboxing designer shoes. Facebook album titled Soft Life or Nothing. She started flying, first to Ghana, then Dubai, then Turkey. She posted hotel room views with captions like, God's timing is the best. At night, Comfort sat at her balcony, looking out at the city lights. The old ceiling fan and mosquito coil were gone. She now drank wine instead of sachet water. Her nails were done, her skin glowed, but her eyes still distant. Sometimes she laughed too hard at jokes that weren't funny. Sometimes she sat hours, just scrolling, then dropping the phone like it weighed too much. But she never spoke of the cemetery, not once. Sundays became rest days, Mondays, spa, Wednesdays, saloon, Fridays, Amara picked her up and they painted the nightclubs red. They toasted to wealth, to freedom, to pain they never spoke about.
You deserve this life,
Amara would say.
You earned it.
Comfort would nod slowly, sip her drink and smile, but no one noticed she never really finished her glass. In her apartment, the black robe still hung behind the bedroom door. She never wore it again, but she never threw it away. Just once, she stood in front of it, touching the sleeve.
7 nights,
she whispered. Already 5 years now since Comfort joined the cult, and her life changed. It was a Saturday evening when the message came. A coded text from a hidden number. Meeting at the house, 9 p.m. Dress red, no phones. Comfort knew what it meant. The house wasn't a temple, it was a mansion. Quiet and guarded, dressed in velvet and shadow. High women of Lagos gathered there, judges, business tycoons, society wives. No one spoke loudly. Power never needed to shout. Comfort entered in a real silk gown, gold heels tapping across the marble. She saw Amara at the far end, sipping something dark. They exchanged a glance. Comfort took her seat. At exactly 9:30, the room darkened. Candles flickered. A woman stepped forward in a crimson robe, the High Mother. Her voice was clear, calm and deadly. Our covenant does not expire, but it must be renewed. Every 5 years, we give back what we took. We offer fresh blood for continued power. A cold breeze pressed through the room, though no window was open. Come forth! The name echoed. She sat up, stiff. You've eaten from the table. Now it's your turn to pay. 7 children, all under age 4, within 3 months. Gaps filled Comfort's lungs but never escaped. Her heart beat like thunder beneath her ribs. Failure, the High Mother said. means your blood shall return to the soil that birthed you. The candles flickered out. That night at the parking lot, Comfort laid on Amara's car trembling. Her voice cracked.
7 children? Amara, no, I can't do that. That's inhuman. That's
Life.
Amara interrupted coldly.
You thought it was free?
Comfort shook her head, eyes filling.
But children?
Amara lit a cigarette, exhaled slowly.
I gave my husband and my parents. You think I wanted to? It was the only way. My kids are all I have left. And I just pray that one day they do not demand them of me.
There has to be another way.
Comfort whispered. Amara scoffed softly.
There's only one way. Deliver or be delivered.
Comfort looked at her helpless.
But how? How do I even get 7 children?
Amara glanced around, leaned closer.
You can't take them by force,
She said.
That will get you caught. You need to earn their trust. Blend in, become invisible.
Comfort was silent.
Go back to the trenches.
Amara continued, her tone smooth and calculated.
Rent a room in a crowded compound. Disappear into the chaos. Take only the basics, just enough to look like a struggling woman.
Comfort stared blankly, trying to keep up.
Observe your neighbors. Win the children over. Be kind. Buy sweets. Carry them on your back. Walk them to school. Then, when the parents trust you, you take them.
A lump formed in Comfort's throat. She swallowed it.
You won't get all 7 in one place.
Amara added.
Do it in batches. 2 here, 3 here. A different compound each time.
Comfort still couldn't speak.
You used to beg life to notice you.
Amara said.
Now it has. Don't waste it.
Comfort sat at the edge of her bed. Her wig was off, her earrings on the dresser, her soul scattered across the tiles. The black robe still hung behind the bedroom door. She stared at it. She remembered the cemetery. She remembered the dream, her parents warning her, the Range Rover, the designer perfume. The store manager called her Madame. And now this? Outside, Lagos moved on, but inside her apartment, Comfort sat frozen. No decision made yet, but a decision was coming. No one saw her leave. She packed before dawn. Just a Ghana must go, a folded mattress, a wrapper, a small pillow and a plastic bucket. The same way she once arrived in Lagos many years ago. No driver, no makeup, no jewelry, just her. She left the keys to her luxury apartment with the security guard and told no one where she was going. Then she entered a public compound in Lagos mainland. The compound was loud and crowded. Soot-colored walls, rusted zinc rooftops, water ran in gutters, children played in the dust. Comfort dragged her back through the narrow entrance, headscarf firm, face lowered. She introduced herself to the landlord as Auntie Neka, a widow from the village trying to start afresh.
I just need a small room, sir. Anywhere I can lay my head.
She was given a corner room at the back. She paid 3 months up front. The other tenants smiled at her.
You look like a quiet woman. This one a neat widow. She go mind her business.
Comfort nodded, smiled faintly. By the second week, she had mapped out the compound in her mind.
Mama Ijoma had 2 kids, Emeka and Chinyere, both under 4. The woman in the front room just gave birth to twins. The tenant by the back gate had a baby and a toddler.
The compound had more than enough for her assignments. She started small, buying sweets, helping mothers rinse clothes at the tap, carrying crying babies when their mothers were cooking.
This Auntie Neka is too good,
they said.
God will bless her. She no gets pikin, but she treats our children like her own.
They didn't know she was counting them. Inside her room one night, by candlelight, she wrote on a torn paper.
Chinyere, 3 years old. Emeka, 2.5 years old. Mesoma, 4 years old. The twins, less than 1 year old. Shei, 3 years old.
The target was 7 children. She folded the paper and slid it under her mattress. One afternoon, children ran about in the compound half naked. Mama Ijoma had to rush to the market. She turned to Comfort.
Auntie Neka, please help me look after Emeka and Chinyere. I won't stay long.
Comfort smiled warmly.
No wahala, my sister, go come.
At exactly 3:15 p.m., she locked her room door from outside. The two children followed her, holding sweets in one hand and her fingers in the other. They were last seen at the compound gates. In the evening of that same day, Mami Joma returned with a nylon bag of vegetables and 2 small yams. She smiled at her door.
Auntie Neka.
Silence. She knocked, and again. The door was locked. The windows were shut. No sign of Emeka, no Chinyere. She called out to neighbors. They looked around. No one had seen her return. No one had seen her leave. By nightfall, Mami Joma was in the middle of the compound, barefoot and shaking, screaming,
My children! My children!
People gathered. Men began to bang the locked door. The room was empty. Comfort was gone. At the chamber, late at night, 2 children sat in the corner of a dark room, lit only by a single red bulb. Comfort stood in front of them in silence. Her scarf was gone, her wig back on, her face returned. She handed the robe to a masked woman at the altar.
These are the firsts,
she said. Her voice was flat, no remorse and no hesitation. Comfort arrived at the second compound with the same look she had mastered, tired, humble and harmless. She wore an old wrapper tied just above her chest, a scarf around her head, and slippers that slapped softly against the concrete as she walked. She dragged a Ghana must go, a mattress rolled under one arm, a bucket in the other. She knocked gently on the gate, introduced herself to the landlord as a struggling widow looking for a room.
Call me Auntie Ebere,
she said softly.
I don't have much, but I will pay 3 months.
No one suspected anything. She blended in quickly, greeting everyone warmly, helping mothers at the tap, playing with the children. But there were 2 girls that caught her eyes almost immediately. They were twins, identical, beautiful, barely 4 years old. They ran around barefoot with sachets of water in their hands, laughter bubbling from their lips as they chased each other between the buckets. Their mother, Mama Ejima, was different. She was quiet but firm, always covered in low gowns, always humming worship songs under her breath, always holding her Bible like a weapon. She was also warm, kind to everyone. She welcomed Comfort like the rest, offered her water when she moved in, even helped her sweep her room. Comfort wasted no time. She brought sweets for the twins, helped their mother to rinse her clothes, carried the girls once when she met them returning from school. It didn't take long before they started calling her auntie, and yet their mother couldn't shake off the strange heaviness in her heart. The first warning came in the form of a whisper. She was folding clothes late one night when she heard it, gentle like wind in her spirit. Be careful of that new tenant. She froze. She turned no one. She prayed and slept. Then came the dream. She saw her daughters tied up in a dark chamber, candles flickering behind them. In front of them stood Comfort, dressed in a black robe, holding a knife. Mama Ejima screamed in the dream, but her voice made no sound. She woke up with a start, drenched in sweat, her daughter sleeping peacefully beside her. She didn't wait till morning. She got up, knelt by her bedside, and began to pray. The next morning, she decided to go into 3 days midnight prayers. She prayed for the first night. The second night, she held an all-night vigil in her room, praying in tongues, declaring Psalm 91, calling her daughters by name. Then the third night, something shifted. Around 2:40 a.m., Comfort began to feel uneasy in her room. The air grew thick, her ears rang, her hands trembled. She stood up to drink water, but her legs gave way. Suddenly, a sharp noise rang in her head. Then another. She staggered, grabbed the rope hanging on the back of her door. The moment her hand touched the fabric, she let out a loud scream and collapsed to the floor. She rolled over on the ground, clutching her chest, gasping, crying like a wounded animal. She bolted out of her room barefoot into the middle of the compound, her robe still in her hand. The scream that followed was like thunder.
I took them. I took the children. They told me to bring 7. I already have 2. I came for the twins. I was going to...
Her walls scattered across the compound like wildfire. Doors flew open, tenants rushed out, torches and phone lights flashed. Mama Ejima stepped forward slowly, holding her Bible in one hand, her daughters behind her. She didn't raise her voice, she just said, "Thank you, Jesus." By morning, police were at the compound. Comfort had confessed everything. She led them to the hidden chamber on the outskirts of town. The two children were found, hungry, weak, but alive. A pastor was called. Prayers erupted inside the chamber, and before the officers could even touch the place, fire broke out from inside. The court was destroyed that day forever. Comfort was taken away in the police van. Her cosmetic store mysteriously caught fire that same night. Her apartment was locked by the police, her bank account frozen. Her name made headlines. But she sat quietly in a cell, weeping softly. Days later, Comfort gave her life to Christ during a prison visit. She knelt on the bare floor of the chapel, tears soaking her orange uniform. She didn't ask for release. She only said, "Let this pain not be wasted. If I live again, let it be different." The moral of this story is that when desperation drives a person to cut corners for success, the price is often far greater than the reward. No wealth gained through darkness ever brings true peace, but even in the deepest pits, redemption is possible for the one who is willing to turn back before it's too late. Hello fam, thank you for watching through to the end of this video. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you are here to do that. Like and share this video, and until we meet on our next story. Bye.